kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fined for my last job. Hot-wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard. Beat my brother-in-law half to death. Lost $20 on his football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no way we'll ever change. Ain't no harm by the things we do or the trouble that we get into.
Hey, good morning, Victoria. Good morning, Texas. Good morning, the world. We appreciate you tuning into the Wade and Carter Show. On behalf of Ash, who's out of town on business, I'm your host, Brent. Hope that you're having a good Monday morning. Remember, you can't win the week unless you win Monday. Get up and get after it like people like Mark Kurtz, Rena Shearer, and Scott Tomko being the first three in. Ricky Champagne King probably already out on the roads this morning. There's Jordan Glass, Judge Posey. What a constant for the program and what a blessing to see you, sir. Scott Snow, Kendra Douglas, Linda Christ, Jordan Glass, and BJ Nelson. She says, here we go again. Mondays are the best. There's Greg Garcia, Lisa Poole. Welcome in. We'll get some more in a minute. Want to welcome you to the show. Lots to talk about today. Nothing too intense and nothing that wasn't somewhat predictable. Good morning, Amanda King. Let's get to the Wade and Carter weather, which, by the way, is also somewhat predictable. It's 52 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today of only 57. Skies are cloudy, overcast, drizzly. Not a bad day. I mean, it's a winter day, right? It's a gloomy, pre-spring day. So, the Wade and Carter weather, as always, brought to you by the great folks at Deerland Feed. And I did confirm that they will have the pre-emergent that you probably need to put down, in about 2 weeks. You have a pre-emergent to get you through the sticker burr season. So we want to get you through the sticker burr season. First things first, I think the top story, probably the top story of the day, is Donald Trump doing what Donald Trump does and what he does best. Donald Trump the other day said, hey, I'm going to round up these criminal illegal aliens. If you're an illegal alien, if you're here illegally, if you did not come through with traditional admission standards and through those channels, don't get caught breaking the law. Now, if you sneak in here, find a job, you're getting paid cash, you know, the person that hired you is a criminal because they're avoiding all the regulations. Okay, just keep your nose clean, stay out of trouble, and you'll be last on our list. Donald Trump deported some folks to Colombia. That's with two O's. It's not Columbia like the sporting wear. It's Colombia. Donald Trump put some people on a military plane, sent it back to Colombia. Gus Petro, president of Colombia, refused the plane. Negative, Ghost Rider. You cannot land here. Sent it back to the U.S. Donald Trump immediately said, guess what? 25% emergency tariff on all products out of Colombia, including coffee. Hello, Colombia. It's what you export. Well, Colombia turns around and says, fine, we'll put a 25% tariff on you too. Until all the coffee growers went, whoa, Prez, that ain't helping us. So he changed course and said, you know what? I'll send a presidential plane, my presidential plane, and pick those people up. Donald Trump at work using leverage, political clout. Make no mistake, we are not going to be the most popular country on the planet. And I'm fine with that. My dad told me long ago, every ally we've got either owes us a ton of money or we bought them. And it's true, because the world system is against our republic. We're the only government of our type anywhere really on the planet. There are some mimickers. There are some democracies. But the way that we do what we do is somewhat unique even today in the world. And people hate. Look, they hate the Yankees, right? I had people yesterday hating on the Kansas City Chiefs just because they win too much. The United States taking it on the chin from the world because we're just too good. Hats off to Donald Trump for standing his ground, doing what he said he was going to do. There were raids. Let's see if I can find it here. I have data. I have info. Almost 1,000 arrests have been reported across the U.S. in the last week. In addition to enhanced targeted operations announced by ICE agents in Chicago, immigration enforcement actions were reported over the weekend in the Atlanta area, as well as in Colorado, Los Angeles, and our own Austin, Texas. Good for Donald Trump. Good for America. Hats off to him for that effort. California can't get a break. They finally get the fires out. God sends them a little rain. Now we got mudslides. There's some places you're just not really meant to live. California is a beautiful place to visit. If it wasn't for Californians, I would go more often. The fact of the matter is, you build on the side of a hill, and you have to drill piers to do it. And there's 3 inches of topsoil underneath you because you're on a mountain. Well, the next thing you know, the dirt slides down onto the highways. People die in those things. You're driving, and it's like a concrete truck dumps on you. Not a good day. Not good. Just hits all over the place, but it's just bouncing around from place to place. I'll see who else is checked in so that you people don't get too, I don't want you to get behind. There's Will Vincent, Marvin Mickish, Mark Zepeda, Stephanie Conti, good morning, friend, Heather Kraft Stewart, Sarah Elkins, Daniel Wade White, not a serial killer, confirmed, vetted, a trusted source. Bobby Leister, Sherry Merrick Jacobs, very rarely are women serial killers. All serial killers seem to operate with 3 names. David Glass, there you go. Scott Tomko says, give him a parachute and 1 hour of training. You know, you just have that deal where you hook it onto that line like you used to see in the old Army movies. You just hook that ripcord onto the line, just shoot them right out the back, let them float gently to the ground in their home country. Linda Chris says she loves the way that Donald does things. There you go. Mark Zepeda says, we may not be popular, but we're not going to be the world's patsy either. Amen. Amen. Junior Simple says, you mean to tell us a threat of a tariff of 50% influenced a leader to change his mind about treating us with respect? You bet. What you're going to find, and I'm not saying this is necessarily a good thing, America is an indulgent country. We have to have our coffee, right? We have to have it. But guess what? Other countries supply the majority of that product, and it's what they do. It's like Vermont. What do they have? Maple syrup. It's what they do. If you put 100% tariff on maple syrup, Vermont's going to listen to you. It's purely business. It's purely politics. It's just exactly like the mafia. It's exactly like the mafia. Hey, you work with me, I work with you, okay? Let's work together. As Linda Chris says, they don't like us anyway. Let's be hated and be happy. not to mention more stable. Yeah. Junior, stop it. Patrick Strauss, good morning, brother. Get to Patrick Strauss in a minute. As a subset of the First State Bank of Louise Sports Minute, we will have the Patrick Strauss Astros subsection. Joaquin Ramon says, good morning, Coach. Good morning, my little buddy. I hope you're not a little buddy anymore. He's grown up. Kid I know with the Hall of Fame name, Joaquin Ramon. You can hear it. Big League Stadium someday. Now batting for the Astros. Number 2, Joaquin Ramon. Dana Moore de la Garza, good morning. Ricky D is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. BJ Nelson says, has anyone seen the recently released video concerning LBJ and him hiring the killer for JFK? I can't decide if it's AI or real. You know, BJ, I think the deep state relies and is going to rely on AI. I'll tell you this. There was a movie made several years ago by Oliver Stone, maybe 20 years ago now. Oliver Stone. I think it was just called JFK. Kevin Costner was in it, played the prosecutor. A lot of, sadly, that may be the history movie for some of these young kids. A lot of leeway was taken with the facts, a lot of flirting with the facts. You know, before his death, we actually did identify who Deep Throat was. In this movie, Donald Sutherland played an assemblage of people. He brought information to the movie that was really gathered from 5 or 6 different people, but they portrayed him as kind of Deep Throat in the movie. But there's a real moment in the film where Kevin Costner asks him, hey, who really killed JFK? Was it the mob? Was it Cuba? Was it the Russians? And Sutherland looks at him and says, basically, when you get to this level, it's really hard to tell them apart. And there's a lot of truth in that. You're going to tell me that Vlad Putin's any different than an old Chicago mobster? I don't think so. Same dude, just, different title. Yeah, Tammy McElroy Williams says the MLK documents, he was Diddy before Diddy. Very interesting. It is very interesting how many people you see who they're alpha personalities, they're type A personalities, and there seems to be a correlation between power or the pursuit of power or the perception of power and like hypersexuality. It just seems odd to me that the more powerful people get, Bill Clinton comes to mind, obviously JFK, Donald Trump maybe comes to mind, as people who end up just with the pursuit of instantaneous, gratuitous sex just to, fill a void in their lives. And it does appear, and no slander to Dr. King, it does appear that he had that makeup, that's part of who he was, that his wife was aware that he routinely slept with other women. It's interesting because in your mind, you're going, he's a Baptist preacher. Well, okay, where's Tammy Faye? I mean, it's kind of hard to argue that you don't make people in the church your God, or you'll end up very far away from him. Let's take a quick break and see if we can figure out what's going on in the world. Folks, Wentz Services, Went Jr. I saw this weekend Aaron Went was at a Texas ball in D.C. with our own, I just drew a blank, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Alan West is who was there. And pictures of Aaron with him. It was awesome. Great. Wind services for all your generator needs, all your electrical needs. RK Development Group, Daniel Rollins. Now, Daniel's got a program going on we need to look at. You can look up RK Development Group and find out how to reach him on Facebook. But they have they're doing a raffle right now. You buy a $100 ticket, and your $100 ticket puts you in line. If your ticket is drawn for he values it at $59,000, a $59,000 pool. So obviously you could add on to that, put the water feature, put the slide, whatever you want to do. As an insurance guy, I tell you, don't put the diving board, and do budget for a fence around it. But RK Development Group has that opportunity out there. I think it's a great idea, right? You buy a $100 ticket, and the winner gets a pool. Nice deal. Very well done. Brand Us, always appreciative of Commander Cody, whether you need website development, whether you need troubleshooting on a computer system. He's got a program you can get with Cody at Brand Us, and he will put you on a debit program where you just call him anytime you have a computer problem. He's your guy. It's kind of like he's your primary care physician for your program. He really just looked at me like, what kind of deal is Brent making for me? And then he agreed with what I said. Atzenoffer and Atzenoffer.com since 1926, folks. Atzenoffer has been Victoria's dealership and still is. You need a new car, you need a Chevy pickup, get on over to Atzenoffer or peruse them on the website. They do lots of sales over the internet. It's amazing. We recommend them to you. White trash services and white trash site services. Got an unsightly structure remaining on your property? Call 550-1826 and let white trash get rid of it. Yep. Patrick, it used to be Patrick John Welder. Now it's Patricio Juan Welder, paying homage to his Latin roots. Comes in $1. Well, for him, it's never $1 short, but he might come in a day late. Colombia agrees to take flights of deported migrants after Trump threatened stiff tariffs. Thank you, Patrick. That was the top story. Today is January the 27th. In 2005, the UN declared today, the 27th, International Holocaust Memorial Day. This year's commemoration comes as the number of survivors is rapidly dwindling. There are very few Holocaust survivors. We must never forget. But anti-Semitism is on the rise. It said, especially in Australia. I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. To me, it's one of the things that really assures me that the Bible tells us the truth. I can't think of any reason to hate Jewish people simply for being Jewish, except that the Bible says they will always be under attack. I can think of no other reason, no logical reason. People in general are logical. They don't go to war for no reason. Interesting. Only 117,000 Jews in Australia, yet a kosher deli, people's homes have been attacked. Swastikers are popping up. The Australian government believes that these are paid ne'er-do-wells. People are being paid to cause problems. There's a group that I did not know. I'm looking down here. Sydney and Melbourne are the ones that are having the biggest problems. I'm getting this from CNN, the Tammy Keeling fact check, source check. But I wanted to find for you to let you know who they are. They call it Five Eyes. Five Eyes, like Five Guys burger, but Five Eyes, like eyeballs. Australia's Security Alliance. It's Australia, the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and New Zealand. Interesting. So they're all looking. What I noticed there is all the little white countries got together, right? Australia, the U.S., the U.K., Canada, and New Zealand. The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese said, this isn't something that began yesterday. These things are ongoing, which is why people have been rounded up, arrested, charged, and are currently in jail without bail. Explain it to me. If you know, if you want to say, well, the Jews they're greedy and they're money grubbers, and if you want to say that, that's fine. So is Donald Trump. Why is the world hateful to the Jews of the world outside of biblical prophecy? I cannot explain it. In the Middle East, tens of thousands of displaced Gaza residents began returning to what was their home today after Israel opened a corridor into the north of the battered enclave. You may recall that we told you way back when this would not go well for Hamas. Hamas has merely been spared total eradication. The Jews basically whipped their fannies just like we told you they would when they started messing with them way back when. So every now and then people come in, they try to attack Israel, and Israel beats the snot out of them, and then they end up quitting. What I find interesting, if I can find it here, tensions also heightened on Saturday after President Trump said he had discussed his plan to clean out Gaza. He had discussed it with the leaders of Jordan and Egypt. Now listen, Donald's just a genius of diplomacy. I'd rather get involved with some of the Arab nations and build a housing in a different location where I think they could maybe live in peace for a change, Trump said of Gaza. Never mind that that's, to them, that's their homeland. I mean, they believe, that's like somebody coming in and saying, hey, we don't really think you got to live in Texas anymore. We're going to build you some Section 8 out there in the desert and outside of Phoenix. Think you can live there in peace. I'm not saying it's not a good idea. I'm saying it probably ain't going to happen. Both Jordan and Egypt rejected Trump's idea to shift Palestinians out of the enclave, saying such a move would displace Palestinians from their homeland. So now Trump knows where Jordan and Egypt stand in relation to Israel. Be aware of that in the coming days. That's pretty much, well, while we're here, since we're here, we could talk about the football games over the weekend. Last night, the Chiefs beat the Buffalo Bills 32-29, a really good game. Buffalo, there were turnovers. The Chiefs being the first team with a chance to three-peat. There are teams that have won back-to-back, like the Cowboys, a long time ago. But when the Cowboys won back-to-back, they never made it to that third Super Bowl. So Mahomes' team is the first team. He's now 12-2 in home playoff games. He has more playoff wins as quarterback, something like 19, than anybody not named Tom Brady. I don't know where he stands on your all-time list. Their style of play is interesting to me. There's a lot of dink and dunk, and they just find a way to just beat you. They find a way to win. It's hard to argue with. It's not always the prettiest, but if you appreciate the position, watching Patrick Mahomes is a joy to watch. He can really extend a play. He rolls out, he steps up in the pocket, and he does it second only to Tom Brady as far as looking unathletic. There's nothing where you watch Jaden Hurts, you watch Hurts, you watch Jaden Daniels. It's Jalen Hurts, I think, Jaden Daniels. The Daniels kid from Washington is going to be and is already special. Great player. But he's athletic, super athletic. Lest you think I'm being racist, labeling Mahomes kind of a white guy that can't move. Mahomes is half black. So it's not a racist issue. I'm not putting down the white player. I'm looking at Mahomes and seeing a guy that just kind of ho-hum, he's back there. The defenders come, and he just kind of raises the ball, shoves that guy's helmet, steps up in the pocket, finds Travis Kelce. They win 32-29 and will be going to the third Super Bowl in a row. They beat San Francisco Giants last year. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles, the team they play again this year. They play them. Very interesting. The Eagles pounded the Washington Commanders yesterday. I'm guessing if someone has time to fact check it, Commander Cody, 55-23 may either be the most points ever scored in an NFC Championship game or the biggest point differential. Point differential being 32 in an NFC Championship game. At any rate, the Eagles will play the Chiefs. Eagles, Saquon Barkley is just flat out, with maybe the exception or appear only. I'm correct. Okay, there you go. That was a guess, but Commander points out that was the largest point total in NFC Championship history. Maybe only Derrick Henry from the Ravens could be deemed to be in the same league as Saquon Barkley. Barkley scores 3 touchdowns yesterday, averages almost 8 yards a carry. Just a phenomenal performance. All of that minutia, to many of you, brought to you by First State Bank of Louise. Get in, the friendliest bank anywhere. Get in, free checking, free savings. I throw in the Patrick Strauss second to let you know that the Astros traded Ryan Pressley yesterday or day before for a young man named, I think his name is Juan Bello, Bello. 20-year-old pitcher, pitched 22 games in A-ball last year for the Cubs. Really, it was a salary dump. We got rid of that money. I believe now that money will be used to sweeten the pot a little bit, and the Astros will re-sign Alex Bregman. The Detroit Tigers were in the run for him. They wanted him. A.J. Hinch likes him. They had offered him a 5-year deal. The Astros were offering 6 for $156 million total, which is $26 million a year. I think they may push that up a little bit and allow Bregman to have a win, if you will. I don't know that he's worth it. If he's worth it anywhere, he's worth it in Houston. His leadership, his history here, his mentoring of young players, and the fact, for example, he's so committed. Bregman mastered conversational Spanish to be able to deal with the Astros foreign players in their tongue. I thought I had great respect for that. I mean, I'm a big proponent of you move here, you live here, learn our language. That's fine. You'll see a guy like Jose Altuve speaks perfect English when he's interviewed. And yet, in the dugout, the majority of the players speak Spanish, and Bregman joined them. And I'm proud of him for that. That does bring value. That level of leadership does bring value. I look for Alex Bregman to rejoin the Astros roster fairly soon. Jarrett McCrugan asked a really solid question. Is anti-Semitism on the rise because of all the immigration? You know, if you were to say, there's some stereotype here, don't get offended, but if you were to say that the folks that are coming here from Honduras, Guatemala, some of these third world type countries, if they're not as highly educated, even just in street smarts, I mean common sense, as the American majority, you may find that those people are more susceptible to being misled, to being led down a path of hatred through politics. I can remember being a late teen, young adult, when it was perfectly safe or relatively safe to go across the border, Matamoros down at Brownsville, just to go Reynosa, to go into Mexico to shop, to hang out, buy a switchblade. Woo! These things. There were all kinds of communist propaganda. I saw swastikas on billboards and on the sides of buildings, not billboards, but the signboards on the sides of outside of shops, where now in Victoria, you might see somebody put their business card. There was notifications of Nazi meetings just right out in the public. And that was right across our border. So the idea that some of those folks could come here and other places and be openly hateful, I can see that happening. Tom Price, good morning, my friend. Yeah. Junior Samples with a deep thought. When you need a banker, a lawyer, a jeweler, and a tailor, you can't knock a Jewish guy. They got it down pat. There's a lot of truth in that. You know, most stereotypes, for better or worse, most stereotypes are based in some truth. I mean, I joke about it. I've been at Veracruz when a group of school teachers checks out and there's like 5 or 6 of them. I've literally bought their check to not watch them break their tab down to the penny. There's nothing, I mean, the concept of if Commander and I go out, hey, I got lunch today, you get it next time. And that's what he says, I never take him out. But like, let's say that we were going to go out for the sake of the show. Then I would go, hey, I got lunch today. In fact, he does so much for us, in all fairness, I would just buy lunch. But let's say that we were going to go Dutch. Why make Veracruz ring up 2 cards, or anybody ring up 2 cards? I got it today. You get it tomorrow. Not school teachers. I had the one chalupa. I owe $3.86. And here's my $4. And that's how they roll. I'm just like, here, just ladies, just give it to me. Go back to school. And they're like, how'd you know we were teachers? The hair, the outfit. I got you. I know you are. And God bless them. I mean, hey. And it's, you know, I understand it. Frugality is a necessity. Frugality is a necessity until we start doing a better job of taking care of our educators financially. Yeah. Linda Chris says, why would an underdeveloped country try to fight with a country that is so developed that they have a dome? Interesting. They're going to have I don't know, make up a number, a G7, some kind of summit. There's going to be a summit. It's in Canada this year. Saw a guy yesterday on Twitter popped off that, we'll see. Trump will have to zoom into that meeting because Canada doesn't allow felons into the country. I just sent him a quick text. You hide and watch. The Donald will be there. This idea, it may be rude. It may be over the top. It may be, the idea of fascism, aside from the government's role in business and all that, which is really fascism, but the idea of being motivated about your family first, your faith first, your state first. We're all proud Texans. How many of us are equally proud to be Americans? And what has America done in the last 20 years to make you uber proud? I think most of us looking back have deep reservations about Afghanistan, Benghazi, the seeking out of Saddam bad. Yeah, he was a bad guy, but hey, there's that whole pesky thing about the Constitution. And, there really weren't any weapons of mass destruction. Dang it, we tried so hard. But your country can let you down. Your country can disappoint you, and that's okay. No country's perfect. Man messed that up. I'm listening to a book on tape by a guy named M.A. Rothman. It's called Primordial Threat. And it's about the idea that the world is in trouble because a black hole is approaching this solar system. And without giving any of it away, they work out a way, they do this, that, and the other thing. Bada bing, bada boom, they talk to a guy. The next thing you know, they solve the problem, or they're in the middle of solving it where I'm at in about chapter 37. And I couldn't help but think, and I thought about it this morning on the way in, will those people, when they collectively get together and literally save the planet from certain destruction, will they just go back to trade wars and hating each other and to what end? At the end of the day, really, does it matter that we beat China at something or that China beats us? Is it really worth it that they're flying drones and balloons over our country? And I'm not trying to be John Lennon. I'm not give peace a chance. That's a nice idea. I certainly don't believe in imagine. I have no problem with us having separate countries. But naively, I ask, can't we all just get along? Does it have to be contention all the time? Do we have to be on the verge of war all the time? I say yes because there's satanic discord in the planet. I believe it in my heart. Greg Garcia, a little bitter, I'm gathering. If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, are they going to give the referees a ring as well? By the way, that brings me to something. It could be a little unpleasant for some of you. Tough weekend to be an Aggie. Tough weekend to be an Aggie. Let me set the page for you. Aggies are already reeling after they invited us so graciously to Kyle Field. 100,000+ people there. Renewing of the rivalry. Texas beats them 17-7 to cap off an epic, tragic late season slide that saw them lose 3 of their last 4 games. 1 to lowly Auburn and 1 to their most hated rival, who they hadn't played in, I don't know, pick a number, 12, 13 years, Texas. All they had to do was win that one game. They go to the SEC championship game and for sure are into the college football playoff. But instead, they lose. So along comes basketball season. They totally dominate. We go to Reed Arena, and they totally dominate us and beat us by 20, like 80-60. The Aggies just dominate. It was a powerful game. I watched it, and it made me believe. I believed that they had a really good team, and they do have a really good team. They came to Austin this last weekend, and they have such a good team. No kidding, no humor. I'm not making fun of them. They were up at one point, something like by 22 points, Brother Gary says. It was like 48-26. At the end of the first half, they had like 37 points, brother. They had 12 field goals in the first half, 10 three-pointers, 3 baskets, and a free throw. They were killing the Longhorns. Texas comes back and beats them 70-69. It's just impossible. I've got 3 grown children who all went to A&M, and they don't care beans. In fact, none of those 3 devoted Aggies even knew that Texas was playing the Aggies in basketball, because football is all that really matters until they get to baseball season. At the end of the day, it really was kind of tragic to me because Texas does not have a very good team, really. Certainly not. I mean, we'll make the NCAA tournament, and I know that's a huge thing for the Aggies to make the NCAA tournament. Yippee. We like to win things, not just attend. I don't want the green ribbon. And I really thought the Aggies had a team that could go. And maybe this will be a wake-up call for them. A tragic misstep on Saturday, because it just allowed us to split a series that the Aggies really, I'm humbly admitting the Aggies should have won. They should have won. I like their coach, Buzz. He's an exciting guy, but Buzz let him down. That's a coaching deal. There were some timeouts that should have been called. Buzz's idea of coaching is 5 brothers and a ball. Just roll it out there and go, y'all go. And the guy that does the announcing, I can't think of his name, tall guy, the basketball player, played at Duke, and for a very structured, very great, the greatest maybe, college coach, Mike Krzyzewski. And he was trying, the Aggies were up by so much, brother, that he was trying to compliment them. And he just said, this coaching style is really kind of novel. Just let them go. Just let them run. Well, that may come off as a compliment, and it is until you lose. And once you lose, you're like, hey, coach, come on. Jonathan Williams asked the question, Aggies have a basketball team? Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. Brother man, you want to join us? I'm going to come on over here, and I got a bone to pick with you when I'm done with this break here. Chesnick Furniture, folks. Chesnick and Love make your house a home. Get in this week. See why you just always do better at Chesnick. There's a preview of the brother man. Look, he's standing right there, looking sharp, looking good. Chesnick is your home. Go by and see Bobby Leon and his family. They'll help you and yours. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Got to come up with a February date to play. It'll be coming up pretty soon. We'll do it for you. The office is at 205. JP Hull and his group, Mr. Geets, put together a beautiful building here. The acoustics are great. We'd love to have you come down anytime. Like the brother just came up the stairs. 26 stairs, brother.
Beautiful.
26 stairs. Beautiful place, right?
Beautiful place.
Yeah, beautiful historic building down here. It's nice. Come by and see us anytime between 7 and 8. We're here. Paravita Wellness, get in and get healthy. I'll be picking up meals today. Gluten-free, preservative-free. And it just doesn't take much. They fill you right up. I'm looking forward to going by and getting my meals. Erica Briggs and her team do a fantastic job. Allen's Wrecker Service. Let Allen's get you from here to there, get you out of trouble. We'll talk about that. Allen's was on the scene, brother man, when that plane went down over there on the loop.
Yes, I remember.
We heard the final results of that inquiry.
Right.
Nothing exciting there. We'll pass that along in a moment. Vera Cruz today. Get in on Monday. Vera Cruz Restaurant, simply the best Mexican food in town. Go by and see Lee and Ida. They may be excited. We'll talk about the Cowboys' new coach in just a heartbeat. And then USA Concrete Coating. Charlie Garcia and his guys will come out. They can level your house. They can level your slab. They can fill the cracks. They can fill the cracks in your garage, clean it, put in a tough as nails polyurethane, coat them with crack, stick, peel, or fade, and you'll be thrilled with the result. We're joined, I was going to say, as we are every week, except last week, my mentor and dearest friend.
Let you down, huh?
You shined us. You just completely shined us.
I was on my way, but I heard the tall sheriff, the high sheriff, and I said he needs to take him to the end of the show. I was on my way.
We
But that's
appreciate
all right.
that.
Yes,
No,
sir.
that's-
love him.
You
I
know,
love that man.
And he did a great job, and,
he's
he's
good.
on his way to Austin right now.
He's
Called
good.
this morning. He's on his way to Austin. But, yes, you'll recall that on Friday, Sheriff A.J. Louderback, House District 30 state rep, he did just stop by, which we always tell him, hey, anytime you want to come by, you come on.
Well, you get the latest right
And
there.
you, now I know, looking back, had you been here,
I would have told you about
you'd
this
have
stuff.
picked the Chiefs and the Eagles.
Well, we're going to cheat. We're going the favorites.
Now, who do you think is going to win this next weekend?
The Chiefs
It's
are-
not this next weekend. I don't
2
guess.
weeks.
2 weeks.
Chiefs are a slight favorite, 2 points. I mean, hard to stop. What's that? Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, I want to know
And
what their
Hurts?
run defense looks
They
like.
don't pass. They don't need to
No.
pass.
And you know what? Not passing cuts down on turnovers.
Yes, sir. And also, it eats that clock up, too.
Coach, they scored 55 points.
That clock up. They
I mean,
scored
half
quick.
that should win a Super Bowl.
But, Brent, I was thinking about you when the sheriff went on. That was great. But there was some great stuff. And I wanted to tell you, and I know your wife would have loved it. Let me tell you something about Victoria here. We had some great stuff in the past weeks. The Queen concert, of course, was Saturday. I couldn't make it. I'm going to tell you why. but I heard rave reviews.
I'm
about
sure it
Queen.
was.
Almost, less than 200 seats were left. That's a big crowd. And I saw Phil Albright's pictures. He was showing everybody when everybody's raising
And
their
that was at
phones
the
up.
Performing Arts Center.
Performing Arts Center.
Hats off to Kimberly Tominick for doing such a great job on that.
Yeah. And that was great. But
Tomasic, yes, my bad.
right. And also, we had 2 other events. Now, I know you don't do birthdays.
No, but if we did,
if you did,
well, Gary's wife.
Gary's wife,
Come
Connie
on.
Prukop, I had to go to that. You know that.
Yes.
And I went for a while. Connie's terrific. Gary's terrific. And you would have loved it. And
She's still lovely. He had a nice picture of her on Facebook I saw yesterday, and hats off to her for surviving all those years with him.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
He better put something nice on their anniversary. You know what I mean?
Right. And then right after that, I went to, and I missed you. You and your wife would have loved it. Northside Rotary had their casino night at the Club Westerner.
Yes,
Saw
sir.
a bunch of the listeners over there and had a great night raising funds for a charity.
Absolutely.
For the Northside. That was a great time there. And so some good stuff. And I want to tell everybody that if you didn't see, and it was almost sold out the week before, the Stevie Ray Vaughan tribute band called Texas Flood.
Were they good?
Oh, Brent, like the old days, Stevie Ray over the head, behind the back.
Really? He
between
could
the
play,
legs.
huh?
This guy was from Hungary. Texas Flood is the name of the tribute band, and they stood up, wanted more. And I got their last half. If you were doing birthdays, but you don't do it, I was
Right.
at Dr. Beck's birthday party.
Oh, yes. Now, John Beck, we can make an exception, a
You don't
tribute
do
to
'em.
John Beck.
Right. Good guy.
I saw him on
Takes
his
care of
birthday,
animals,
and
I know.
I saw him and thanked him, and he gave shots to the new one. So
Yes.
we're good.
And
He's
I
good.
sent you a text to let you know
Yes, sir.
that I feel your pain.
That one hurt.
That
Yeah,
hurt.
That
Sure,
one
it
hurt.
hurts, man. My brother Mike, I've seen my niece, all of us go through that stuff.
Yes, sir.
And then I went to the last half of Texas Flood. They're coming back. I already booked them.
Oh,
They're coming
good.
back. They were excellent. They stood up and cheered. This guy
Now, where did they play?
at the Welder Center, all
Okay.
but 15 seats, I think they.
Oh, wow. That meant to be there with that kind of music. That would be awesome.
I went in there, man. I just was in awe. And everybody said, man. And they stayed to talk to him. He looked like Stevie Ray. Thin, black hat.
Did he
all
have
the black.
dark hair and all that?
Yeah, skinny.
Awesome.
It was great stuff. So you'd have loved that.
I
Anyway,
would
wanted
like
to throw
that.
that out there. You
The next
remember
time
that?
they're in town, I'll go see them. What do you make of the Cowboys hiring Brian Schottenheimer?
Well, following his father's footsteps, and we shall see. Wish him the best. We need something. We need to turn that corner.
My take is his dad was a really fine coach and a player's coach, and they liked him, but he's been referred to as a lifetime assistant coach, and I think that's what he'll be for Jerry Jones. He'll be Jerry Jones' assistant coach, and that's a problem, right? I mean,
that already starts it right there.
how do you I watched a documentary on Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah.
And Bill Belichick, and I lived through this, but I had forgotten this. Drew Bledsoe came out of Washington State. I'll throw that out for Ash. Drew Bledsoe had signed a contract with the New England Patriots for $100 million. He was the highest paid player in the NFL.
Sure.
And he goes down, they're 0-2, and he goes down to an injury and lost 2 pints of blood. That took him 6 weeks to get back. And they had other players talking about, so, we're the New England Patriots, team above everything. This was around 9/11, and they had started being introduced as the Patriots as opposed to individually. They just had it going on. Belichick was a head guy. He worked in people's heads. And they said, well, what we expected was this backup quarterback would just come in and play until Drew was ready. I mean, Drew Bledsoe was the guy. Well, when Bledsoe came back, Gary, Belichick said, hey, I've thought about it. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions that you think are best for the team. And Tom's going to start this week, even though the $100 million guy was 100% healthy and had practiced all week and taken some hits. I couldn't help but think that Jerry Jones would simply not allow a coach to make that decision. If Tom Brady had played for the Dallas Cowboys, he would have gone back to the bench. I mean, hell, we brought Drew Bledsoe in when he had no bullets left in his gun.
Dallas. Bledsoe played for Dallas.
He would have put Tom Brady. Now, Is Belichick a genius? I don't know. It all worked out, and now we know. Well, of course, now you're like, my son was like, well, why wouldn't you? He's Tom Brady. He wasn't then. He was a second or third year guy from Michigan that had he ran a 5.2, 5.40. He was nobody. He was just a backup quarterback. He was Cooper Rush.
Oh, yeah.
But he just went on to be the greatest quarterback ever.
It worked out.
And Jerry Jones would never, ever allow that.
That would have been a stretch.
Yeah,
that would have been a stretch.
You can bet that when Dak Prescott's healthy, Dak Prescott's playing no matter what Cooper Rush does.
Really?
Unbelievable.
I got a couple for you, small
sir.
tidbits, but I want to mention also, Vince, tonight, East High School football banquet at the East High School cafeteria. We got to honor those boys, too. They did their best. And this Friday night, as we're talking about events, and I want you to know, I'm in the middle of all that stuff.
Yes,
An
sir.
evening with jazz and music and dance, Power Avenue Warehouse, Ziegfeld Follies.
Awesome.
Victoria Fine Arts Association put that on.
Victoria's got lots
Yeah,
going on. And
I'm telling you.
hats off to all these folks.
Yeah, got a good one here. Now, we want to talk college football's big. You know that. Well, let's give the Aggies some credit here. College baseball, you know who's ranked number 1?
Nah, the fighting Texas Aggies.
Fighting Texas Aggies. Go Ags right there. So we're wishing them the best. You already told them about basketball. Most valuable college football teams. Did you ever hear this
You know
one?
it's Texas.
Well, they're right up there. But number 1.
It's got to be Ohio State now.
That's it. Ohio State. Not
when
much
you
difference.
win, you rise in value.
Ohio State won almost $2 billion. College football, one sport, almost $2 billion.
Now, what's crazy about that is, except for the fact that I guess it's a relative ranking about advertising power, why does it matter? UT is not going to sell their football team.
And UT, right below them, $1.9 billion. They're
That's
1
a
and 2.
lot of money
That's a lot for just football.
for football.
College football right there. Number 3, Michigan, 4, Georgia, Notre Dame, number 5. That's your 5.
Yeah.
And you know who the early football rankings, number 1?
Is it Texas?
One poll, early football, had Texas number 1, Ohio State number 2.
So that's Texas opens next year.
Number 1
At Ohio
one
State?
poll at Ohio State.
Right.
The other early football poll was Ohio State number 1, Texas number 2. And Texas goes to Ohio State to start the season.
Yeah, please notice, folks, that Texas doesn't tee it up with Appalachian State. We play Michigan on the road one year. We're playing the defending national champ.
We're
playing
playing
the
them.
defending national champ next year on the road.
That's exactly right. That's
how
slouching.
your program
Not slouching.
rises.
Yeah, so we're just some good stuff. And I heard the call when you did. I did go to UHV's baseball game Friday night for a little bit.
I heard the Parker kid threw a no-hitter.
Yes, 10-0 that first night. And then I went by for a little bit on Saturday, had a doubleheader, Brent, and it was 2-1. I think they won the first game, and I don't know what happened the third game.
Judge Posey on top of us says, how about that no-hitter for UHV? I told you.
Thanks, Judge. Good morning, Judge.
Off the air a couple of weeks ago that I was over at Vendetta at Ryland, had a hitting and catching practice, and I heard this pop, and I looked around the corner, and there was a kid over there. They have an indoor pitcher. So I just kind of walked up behind him, and he didn't pay any attention to me, which was great. And this long, tall, left-handed kid, and I was like, man, that ball's moving, and it's got, good movement. Most lefties have kind of a natural move on their ball. And I was like, this kid's got a little pop, too. I mean, I was like, wow. So I finally asked him, where are you from? And he said, I'm from here, and I play at UHV. And I said, oh, also. And then once I got his name, I knew who he was. I had never met the kid. And sure enough, I'm not surprised that he went out and threw a no-hitter. I mean, he's legit.
Saw some of our diehards out there that night. Yeah.
It had to be.
The diehard. It was cold.
Oh,
diehards were out
Donnie and I had gone down to 205 and split a steak. And we were going to run over there. And we got outside, and she said, hey, I know you want to go. It's too cold. And I said, okay.
And she's right.
It's okay. Let's go.
She was right.
She wanted to go home.
Favor the wife on that one.
Absolutely.
You do that. So, yeah.
Favor her on everything. Stay out of trouble. You know how she is.
You learned. You learned it.
Yes, sir.
You got it?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're doing right there. And you're right. Your mother, the school teachers. And I saw Sheila Cayazo, and I talked to her at a basketball game. I went to the East-West basketball game. She was there. She came, and she said she really enjoyed your program.
We had a great time with her.
Being on.
And she tutored me that it's Coyotza.
Yeah,
So-
we were saying it right in front of her, and
Hard
a couple
to
of my
do.
boys, Callazo is what we heard, but
There you go.
there you go. I think that might. You're close.
She's close. Yeah, she was
But
super.
she was
a great
very
sport
nice.
to be on the program too, and I mean, really came in.
Yeah.
dead cold. No,
Said she loved it.
yeah, well, she had a good time. That's
She had a good time. So I wanted to mention that. And school teachers like your mother, yeah, they break it down to those dollars and pennies, right? You pay this, you pay that.
After I said we play Ohio State, Patrick Strauss correctly, the good Aggie that he is, points out we play San Jose State week 2 and then the UTEP
Patrick,
Miners on week 3. You got to help UTEP, right? That's like, I mean, that's like y'all playing Prairie View. You got to help the family
Well,
school.
hey, they're going to back their boys up. We're going to back
We
ours.
get the Aggies at the end of the year. Hurts our strength of schedule.
Yeah. Oh, you settle down. son.
Right?
You
No,
settle down.
Pete Strauss is a great Aggie and a great friend. He can take it. Well, I tell you what does your week look like? You got a full week?
Busy. Like I say, banquet tonight, several events throughout Chamber Banquet, also Thursday night. John Clegg is a guest speaker.
Oh, good. He's going to talk about a trip he took to the North Pole or
The
something.
North Pole, right. Going to hear that. John Clegg, the Clegg family, very close to me. And so we're going to go do that. And then there's stuff all weekend long. From here on out. And 2 weeks from now, Super Bowl. But kind of sad. Football's about over with.
Yeah, this has been a real golden era, right? Which, I mean, I'm not a basketball, like an NBA guy, but you've had great NBA games on. You've had college football playoffs and bowl games and the NFL playoffs. The last 3 or 4 weeks have just been, from Christmas until now, have just been golden.
Yeah, pros, you don't watch. The playoff games, you pay more attention to.
Yes, sir. Well, there's teams, like I would have never watched Minnesota play LA ever. And I watched every down of that game. And I would not have watched the Eagles play either, and they won. So, yeah, it was fun.
Fun.
Junior says he went to the South Pole.
South Pole, yeah.
That's on
South
the
Pole.
other end because, the earth is flat.
Well,
so
you
it's on
just-
the other end.
You fall, and then you hit it. Right
Yeah,
there.
that's where it is.
Fall, and you hit it. South Pole's right. I saw your old basketball coach, Coach Smith.
Coach Smith, he's doing well.
He was over there at the East-West ball game, too. We got to check those boys out, man.
Tell you what,
Love it.
I heard East won that game.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
The girls, West won the girls, and East won the boys. I believe that's the way it was.
Now, did they play on the same night?
Same night.
That's
one at
beautiful.
5 o'clock, one at 6:30.
That's
different
beautiful.
gyms. Different
Okay.
gyms.
All right.
Different
Yeah,
gyms.
I like them playing at the same time.
went to both.
That's all. I'm not surprised.
Went to both.
How's your cat?
Yeah, no cat right now because I don't want it to. I didn't get another one after I lost mine because I don't want to go through what you just
No,
went
I'm
through.
telling you.
That's tough, man.
I'm telling
And
you.
thank y'all for those that make donations to the little buddies
Amen.
all over the place, and I appreciate you. So
Well,
I'm
I'm glad you brought up Dr. Beck. I think he turned 70,
70.
and he's still very active and just such a wealth of knowledge when it comes to
I know
animals.
y'all had a big event that night. After that, Calvin was there, and a bunch of people you knew
Yes.
were at his party. And then I went to the Texas flood, and I know where you went.
Awesome.
Yes,
Fantastic.
So I'm going to head on it. Well, I'm going to wait for you. I'll wait over here. You finish up the show.
Okay.
Whatever you
I'm
want.
pretty much done. I'm trying to think if there's anything else exciting I wanted
go
to tell
ahead.
you about.
Thank you, Brent.
Yes, sir. So the Colombian guy, I know what I have to tell you. They did approve, the government approved, the Senate approved, what's her name, Cody? The lady from South Dakota? No, Kristi Noem. So Kristi Noem got approved. This week you have Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., and Kash Patel for Tulsi Gabbard for intelligence, Patel for the FBI, and RFK for Secretary of Health and Human Services. All three a little bit on the bubble. They did. Pete Hegseth did get by one vote, by the vote of J.D. Vance. He was approved to be. That was probably the best view y'all have had all week. Was approved. I had finally moved the camera back to me. He was approved to be head of the Department of Defense. I don't understand some of Trump's selections. I think RFK Jr. is a nut. I do. And he's certainly not a doctor. But at least he's not that Rachel Levine, a dude in a skirt that's a psychiatry genius. I mean, if you are a psychiatrist and a man and you wear a skirt to work, I mean, you need to see a psychiatrist, not be in charge of the health of the nation. Very interesting. Very interesting. But he this week we will have those. Hopefully, those folks will all get approved. I don't have a whole bunch else for you today. We did good. Always great to have the brother man come by. I will tell you that Donald Trump did say that he is immediately halting the hiring of any new IRS agents. God bless you, Donald. Hats off to you, sir. That makes so much more sense than when Biden wanted to hire 41,000 new $100,000 a year knuckleheads. Very, very proud of the Donald for that. So Brian Small asks, is the brother man an Old Spice guy? No, but the brother man, when he finds something he wants, he buys a bunch of them. Like if he goes somewhere and he finds a white button down that fits just right, he'll buy 24 of them. And they're all hanging in the closet. So somewhere from 1988, the brother man has 67 gallons of green bottle Polo left over. He's still got them. He can walk through and simply mist himself. And with that, we love you and we will set you free for Monday. Go win. Hey, we love you guys and hope you have a great day. Bye, folks.
I've been kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired from my last job.